SAS point and shoot programming part 2. If I highlight this have data step, and hit the right mouse button, it just ran that data step. Now, if I want to look at that data step, that table that was created, the have table in Excel, if I type XLR here, it'll bring up that data set in Excel. And Excel's kind of nice because you can immediately look at the number of visits you have, the number of maybe repeat measurements you have, the causes of death. It's kind of a nice way to mess around with the data. A lot of people like to put that data set into Excel. So let's get out of Excel and let's go down here. And one of the first things I like to do is work on a comment block, but I like to get to look at the first maybe 40 obs in have. So if I highlight have and I hit shift right mouse button, it's going to put 40 obs. It's going to print 40 obs in the output, but it's also in the paste buffer now. So I'm going to say R55 to make some lines here, R55, to repeat that, to make 55 lines. And I'm going to paste in that listing, and I'm going to shorten it now because I'm going to put it in a comment block. So I shorten it. And notice what it does. It tells you up to 40 obs. We don't have 40 here, we only have 10. Gives you the name of the data set and the total number of observations and the time that listing was created, so that if you come back and you make changes, if you don't change this first comment block, I put in here sometimes no changes, or if I did make changes, I would rerun and probably rebuild the comment block. So let's do one more. Let's create a comment block. If I put A here and push function key 4, I'll get a comment block. And if I want to now move that listing into the comment block, I just highlight, hold the Alt key down and highlight that listing. Things are really kind of difficult with recording. With this recording, it slows me down. I'm limited to the size of my editor. So now I pasted that in there. There's something I want to put before this. Before this comment block, I want to put in a banner. So if I type XPY, which calls Python, XPY have stats. What happened was it created have stats over here in the log, and I can now paste that right here. So I have stats. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so now we're starting. There's another thing I like to do, and I do it almost on every table, is I run count H. I want to create, I got one there. So I say, if I highlight have and type CNTHUSUBJID, I like to get the count of unique uSubject IDs. So the number of unique levels, there's 80 uSubject IDs and there's 85 measurements. So it's not like a demographic table where we have one for one. So we have multiples for a given uSubject ID. So let's look at by visit. Let's look at the unique subjects by visit. If I type UNQH visit, well, I got to highlight have first. So I have to highlight have and then type UNQH. Incidentally, the H means it's highlighted. There are versions where you don't have to highlight and they're just UNQ. But I find the UNQH used more often. UNQH, USU, visit, visit. VISIT, visit. Now what happened is we have a breakdown of unique subjects by visit. So we can, oops. One thing is you have to highlight, if you're going to put it in a comment block, you have to highlight it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over here. Because these screens, it's so hard for me to highlight in the log because the real estate I have is so limited. Actually, I have 3 screens, and this is really difficult, somewhat difficult for me. So I'm going to make room here. I'm going to do 21, which is more than I need. I'll get rid of that. I want to make room here, R21, and now I'm going to paste it in here. Now I can use my Alt key and cut just this out. I could do this from the log, but unfortunately, I'm really restricted on the amount of space I have here. So now I can put this in here. So now we have our frequencies by baseline. Another thing that's sometimes handy to put in a comment block is the contents of have. So if you highlight have here and you type CONH, then I'll get a, in my output window I got, and again I can't do what I want in terms of, well I guess I can, but it's a little bit kludgy because the space is so limited. Let's make space and put the contents here. Okay, this is the end of part 2.